with all due respect.
Hey, we're Josh Ortegan and Greg Gaines, and this is With All Due Respect, the show where we keep it real about health, fitness, and performance. From weight loss to sports development, we're covering the conversations that matter.
Follow us on Instagram at Phenom Fitness, PHNM Fitness, and visit www.phenomfit.com to check out our training programs, coaching, and gear built for real results. Let's get into it.
All right. I always tell myself I'll look up and see what number this is, but as soon as I hit record, I'm like, with all due respect, number something. 75, I don't know.
Somewhere around there.
And this is Tamayah Goodwin part two. I don't know if it's not really part two because we never we did a video with you before we even started podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we ever did like a podcast with you under this brand. So I want you to just introduce yourself. However, I mean, you wear so many hats, Tamaya. When people are like, "Hey, Tamaya, what do you do?" You're like, "Well, how much time you got?" Right? So introduce who you are, what you do, and we'll just start the conversation. And I think people are going to get a lot of this, especially moms.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm Tamayah Goodwin. I own a few businesses here in Columbia. My main, I guess, business that I spend a lot more time on lately is TNT Martial Arts and Fitness, but we have a couple of others. And I'm a mom of three. So between my three businesses and my three kids, life can be a lot sometimes.
Yeah, how long have you, so can you, do you feel good telling them the three businesses so you people are like, oh, this is not just, this is, you have three full-time jobs.
Yes. So we started TNT in 2016. That is our martial arts school. We do kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, kids classes for that. And then we also started a summer camp and after school business called Casey's Best. We started that one in 2020. And then that was going great. So I decided to open up another one in Irmo, and that one's called Dynamite Kids After School and Summer Camp. And we opened that one up 2023.
And so you have three businesses, two different locations, and 2016 is when y'all started. How about your experience in like martial arts jiu-jitsu? From my understanding, you started as a
I
kid,
started as
right?
a kid, yeah. Yeah, I started karate when I was 9. Loved it, did that all the way through high school, college, met my husband, and then we opened up TNT, and that's kind of when I started doing jujitsu and kickboxing. And I love that. And I just love like physical activity. Like I've been doing something like that since a young kid. So it's just like life now. I have to train, I have to do something.
And how about the ages of your kids?
Yeah, so my oldest son is 8. He'll be 9 at the end of this year. My daughter just turned 7, and then our baby, he just turned 1 less than a month ago.
And one of the reasons that this is important to tell is this story is not just about, hey, I run a business. It's um, hey, I'm really busy. It's I got a lot going on. It's really a battle of your own mind with getting your health in control and balancing health,
Mhm.
feeling good about how you look, having a business. How does somebody balance all that? Because we have so many people that come to us and be like, I'm just so busy. And as we talked about before we got on this, anytime somebody tells me they're busy, I tell your story, right? So, and I remember when you text me one day, you're like, "Hey, I got a surprise," and we were in the middle of coaching. You're killing it. You're going to town, working out. I mean, body's changing. All this businesses, and I'm like, "Oh, what's a surprise?" Like, "Oh, you got your purple belt." I don't know, and it's like, "Nope, pregnant." And I'm
I
like,
remember
"Oh,
that.
yeah." I remember saying like, "Pregnant," and I'm like, "Okay, well, here we go on this journey."
Yeah.
As a mom with balancing three kids that are going to school, newborn, business, open a business. I mean, you opened businesses. I mean, weren't you guys right in the middle of opening the businesses when Solomon was got pregnant? When you got pregnant with Solomon?
We had just opened Dynamite Kids, so it was like still in that beginning stage.
If a mom, and I want to tear this towards the moms out there or anybody, what has been the number one thing for you juggling all that and being like, well, I have to have some level of health and fitness here? Can you pinpoint a few things where you're like, these made the largest impacts in my mindset or my activities?
Number one, I'm used to being active, so when I'm not active, I can definitely feel it. And so that's already a motivation to get moving. I just don't like how my body feels when I'm not being active. Um, and even before the baby, like you said, I had gotten into like a really solid routine and we had kind of locked things in. Like my nutrition was doing great. I started seeing a lot of muscle growth and like the body composition that I was really working towards was kind of starting to come through. Had a good routine going to the gym and balancing that with jujitsu. Like everything was going awesome. And even that felt like a little too good to be true. So I was like, wow, we got everything locked in. This is great. And then the baby. So the things that help me the most is I don't strive for perfection. I just strive for consistency.
Mm,
Sometimes that consistency is I go to the gym and I don't feel like doing my workout, but I do something.
mm,
I pick up some weight, I move a little bit, I try to do something like maybe I'm not lifting as heavy as I was last week, or I'm not doing as many reps. Like today is just not a great day, but I'm still there.
mm,
Or that would be like, I even put a little gym in my basement. Sometimes that means I go to the basement and I do my deadlifts or, a little I like YouTube 30-minute workouts because I have kettlebells and things like that, so I'll do that. Um Sometimes it's like, okay, I did not get much activity, so we're going to go to the park with the kids and I'm gonna like actually play with them and do all the things and make sure my body's moving. But I just try to aim for consistency as far as my activity level. And then on nutrition side, I just look at protein because sometimes it can get a little overwhelming to count every macro and everything that I have going. So when I'm in a really busy period, I will just focus on making sure I get a lot of protein.
Another question, and this is kind of one of the things Gray wanted to talk about. And we've had these conversations before because our kids are in the same school and same class. And I think this might be the first year they've not been in the same class
I think so,
in
yeah.
forever, right? Which is cool because the very first jujitsu class I ever went to, her husband was in. The first class I ever did, like 2010, Tim was in. So this is like a full circle conversation. Um, how do you manage health and nutrition in the home?
For the kids. So
Yes.
whatever I
Or
make,
you or the family or Tim.
they just
Let me give you guys some background on Tim. Okay. How old's Tim?
42.
Tim looks like he's 20.
He does.
I'm not kidding, Greg. Tim looks like he's 20. Um, he has a professional career in MMA. Um, he could diet for 6 weeks and hit his body weight just by simply not eating McDonald's. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because I coached him during that time. He came to our gym and like, Tim, what are you going to do to cut weight to 135? He was like, I'll just quit eating McDonald's. And it's 135 in 6 weeks. And he fights. And so Tim looks like he's 20. His body looks like he's 20. He's one of those guys that literally be like, oh, I just switched from fries to potatoes and burgers to chicken. And I'm 135.
Mhm.
But that's background on Tim. So you kind of manage nutrition with the whole family. But with you guys and the kids, how are you managing the healthy home considering you're so busy with kids? And I want to learn for me.
So we do not let our children be that picky. Like if I make it and we put it on your plate, you have to eat it. And we talk to them about nutritious food. So they know what a protein is, they know what a carb is, they know what a fat is, they know that they have to have a balanced plate, they know where to find fiber in their fruits and vegetables. Like we constantly have these conversations with them, and they will even say, Mom, I had a protein snack today, or this has extra carbs in it, but I was really active at jujitsu. So like they understand the base level of building a plate that fuels their body. So when I cook for them, they know that they can't say no to this chicken or this broccoli or this rice because it's food to fuel their body. And of course, I try to make it taste good and, fit everybody's palate. But yeah, they have to eat what I eat. So if I am making a meal that is high protein, whatever, that's what they're getting. That's what Tim gets. Um, we do give them they get one food item that they can refuse to eat. That's our compromise. So for my son Quentin, he hates bananas. So I do not make him eat bananas. If I make a treat or something that has bananas in it, he does not have to eat it. My daughter, right now, she does not like bell pepper. So if I make a meal with bell pepper and I cook with bell pepper a lot, she's allowed to pull her peppers out, but she's got to eat everything else. So that's the compromise for them. They each have one food item. And so if I make a plate for them and there's something on there they're not sure about, they might complain a little bit. I'm like, that's not your item. That's not a banana. That's not bell pepper. So you gotta eat it.
Mm.
I
Um,
think a big question and why I wanted to ask this is because I'm obviously not a parent. So, like, I mean, this could go to both of you guys. People will ask me all the time, how do you have healthy conversations around nutrition with your children? And I can brainstorm as much as I want, but obviously I'm not in it until I'm in it. How do you bring up these conversations with your kids? I know you've talked about, food is fuel, but when it comes to, I guess, describing what healthy eating is, like, how do these conversations flow in your household?
I think for us it's pretty easy because Tim and I are both like very physically active, so
Right.
they understand like exercise and moving our bodies, and they've seen us do it. So that's not even like a strange thing for them. Like they come home, and on Saturday mornings, this is something that they do on their own. They did not get permission from us, or we didn't tell them to do this, but Saturday mornings, they get up at 6:30, the same time they wake up during the week. They put their sneakers on, they run a lap around the neighborhood. They do squats and they do push-ups and they do it together. That's like their little Saturday morning thing.
I love that.
But as far as nutrition, we just treat it like we do everything else in life. It's just a natural part of how we operate. So I never talk about like we eat this way to lose weight or to be smaller or anything like that. It's always in terms of we eat this way so that we can do jujitsu, so that we can, have active, smart brains for school, so that we can, be healthy for our day and play with our friends. And we do the same conversation around sleep. Like we had a conversation the other day about how light affects our melatonin and how at night we got to make sure we're cutting our lights off so that we can sleep well and get enough sleep so that your brains can grow. I want them to be educated. I think that's probably the biggest issue with health in America is a lack of education and people just don't know. And so for them, that's not an excuse. They know. So if they're adults and I see them doing what they're not supposed to do, it's not that they don't know.
How would you tell a mom that's maybe trying to incorporate this into their families? How would you tell them, or where would you tell them to start?
Just be consistent. Like you're
Hmm.
gonna push back. Like my kids, they want Oreos too, like every other kid. They would eat nuggets and French fries every night, but we just don't let them. We have special treats. Like we're not so strict on our diet that they don't get cookies or don't get Chick-fil-A or whatever. But I cook a lot. I cook most of our meals. I cook with them. So sometimes they're helping me in the kitchen. They kind of see the process that goes into making a healthy meal. And yeah, we're just consistent. That's just like, yeah, I know you want Oreos today, but you're gonna get an apple. It's okay.
You'll be fine. You'll forget about it.
oh, did you grow up in a healthy home where how you ate was important?
I
What
grew
was it
up
like for you?
in my mom was always on a diet. She is still this way. She's always like, oh, I'm on a diet to lose weight. And it was always around like size. So I grew up in that way. And I do think that has affected my view or my vanity. I want to make sure that I stay a certain size and I can fit into certain clothing. And that's probably the hardest thing for me to get over when I'm pregnant is just watching myself get bigger. But it was more of like a diet household, not so much about food as fuel, but more so, oh, we're not going to eat that. Like she would say, we're not eating a whole banana because it's got too much sugar in it, that kind of thing. So
Sure.
that has been a little bit of a mindset shift that I've had to develop.
One thing Gray talks about, and we've had this conversation before, is a lot of the women she works with are products of homes where you know, it was diet culture. They grew up in homes, and even when they were little, they did diet culture. And I believe I can't remember if Gray told me the story or we had a conversation with a woman who the house was full of teenage girls. Her and her sisters were teenage girls, and the mom had all of them do a diet and take Dexatrim and do high cardio and low fat, like just the whole thing. And the mindset that had with the daughter. No, it was my inbox is full of people I'm helping all at the same time that are
Mhm.
like they hit me questions,
Mhm.
and I always say I'll send you an answer back. Like I'm not
Yeah,
you.
you're quick. You're very quick with responding.
Yeah, I'm always like I'll hit you back, or if they're even if it's a client or a friend or random people. I've had random people hit me up and be like, do I really have to count my calories? I'm like, well, I mean, if you want, and this is what to do, and here's some tips, right? I don't mind those questions. I enjoy that because people are desperate for real info, like real
Yeah.
information. And it was the woman one time hit me with that story of I grew up in a home. It was Dexatrim for me and all my sisters. We were always on a diet. My mom was on a diet all the time. Um, if prom was coming up, my mom made us all get on a diet. And now that has affected me to the point where like I don't even know what looking being happy with my life is. And that is a culture a shift when we learn how to parent from our parents, right? I mean, I find myself saying stuff to my kid all the time, and I'm like, is that my dad? Like, my, I'm like, holy cow, I just repeated like I'm officially old. Was there a shift that you're like, all right, I'm not going to be that mom that's going to be on a diet. I'm going to do it this way with my kids.
Mhm.
Did you always know you didn't want that, or was there something that happened when you're like, all right, I need to have a healthy home. I need to change the shift. This is how it's going to be. Was it when Quentin was little and you had one, or was it you kind of,
I think it was me moving out. Like my mom always, we always had a diet. She put me on the Mediterranean diet, the military diet. There's always some new fad diet. And it's not like we were overweight. When I met my husband, I was under 100 pounds. Like I did not need to be on a diet. That should not have been a word in my vocabulary. So I just, and my husband's also not very large. Like we're just small people naturally. My children are small kids. Like they don't need to, I don't want my daughter to think that she needs to diet. She looks like a beanpole. She does not need to diet. I want her to feel comfortable eating, and I don't want her to put food down because she's worried about gaining weight. I think if we adjust the mindset to that food is fuel and it's good for you and it's going to help you, you're going to tend to pick the right things, which she does. She does a great job. She is probably the healthiest eater in the house. She loves her veggies, she loves her fruit, she loves her protein. If you give her the choice of a snack, she's probably going to pick berries or some piece of fruit or um, protein. She always eats second helpings of her protein at dinner. So like she is kind of what I'm looking at to like my son too, but he doesn't care. He wants to do whatever. But for my daughter, I'm really cognitive of just like giving her the right mindset so that she doesn't grow up thinking she needs to be on a diet.
how do you deal with how do you do lunches at school?
Um, so I cheat 2 days a week. We get the school lunch on Mondays and Fridays. And then I pack lunch the rest of the days. I try to keep it simple. So if we're, like today we did turkey sandwiches. I always make sure they have a fruit or a vegetable, always. So if they get a turkey sandwich, I think Quentin got oranges today and our apple. Quentin had apple, Sophia had orange. And then they get a salty snack. So Sophia got popcorn. No, veggie straws. Quentin got popcorn. And then I let them have one sweet snack. So she wanted a granola bar, and Quentin got a Rice Krispie.
God, if you gave my
It's
kid,
perfect balance.
yeah, if you gave my toy choice of a kid of like a sweet snack, he's going to choose the worst thing. And right, and like I always try to give Asher like, hey, he's like, can I have a night snack? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what do you want? And he'll get like, we'll keep like cereal around the house. And I can't remember what we had, but like we had a little cereal with little marshmallows. And he poured a huge bowl and he's like, all right, I'm done. He ate all the marshmallows out. And I'm like, my gosh, like now I got to create parameters around like,
I do create parameters. Like we keep unhealthy snacks too, like they're kids. Like Quentin loves Oreos. Like that is his thing. He would eat a pack of Oreos a day.
Too.
So he knows that when he goes to the Oreo box, he gets four
Hmm.
of those.
yeah.
Then he's happy with that. He'll grab a little glass of milk, his four Oreos, and
Oh,
yeah, that's the plan.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I love the idea of parameters. I do that with Asher. Like, we got to have a fruit and a vegetable every day. Outside of that, I'm cool, man. Like, go be a kid, have fun. Um, we have to do breakfast, and right now he does these little yogurt cups. Um, and I call them his protein shake.
I love that.
Yeah.
He'll eat his breakfast and then he'll chug the protein shake. He's like, yeah, I gotta chug my protein shake. It's just a little thing, a yogurt cup, right? Um, So creating parameters so he knows, and we do talk about family expectations. And
Mhm.
he'll say things like, well, Dad, my friend so and so gets to do this, this. I was like, well, we have a different expectation at the family. That's just how we do it. And that's how you're going to do it.
Yep.
You can complain all you want, right? Um, talk to me about being busy. We've worked together for like 5 years, I feel like 4 or 5 years. Like we've been, and I feel like now it's like, it's really just having that one extra person accountable for you is really all it really all like you know what to do. There's nothing you don't know what to do. Um, you get busy, life happens. Um, you've done one thing I think you've done a really good job, and it's the hardest thing for women to do. You've always done pictures.
Hmm.
You've whether it's hey, this is what I wore one TNT Halloween celebration. This is a dress I wore. You take pictures. Um, I remember there was a time where like "Oh, the weight's not coming off. The weight's not coming off with you. The weight's not coming off. And the weight's not coming off. And all of a sudden,
Calories were too low.
you were doing really low calories. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another one. We did a call with Mike that got her to eat more, and then her sleep got better, and then the body started changing.
Hmm.
And you did an after picture, and you're like, you're right. Maybe the scale weight is not just dropping off, but my body shape has changed incredibly. And I feel like ever since we did that, you've always sent me pictures of like, this is where I was, this is where I'm at now. The shape's changing. The tune was never, the scale is changing. It became my body's changing. Was that a mindset different for you? Because I don't think you're always going to get rid of the scale. Like some women, you're never,
Still
listen,
weigh every day. So
yes, you
yeah.
still weigh and you weigh every day, right? Right. The importance of weighing every day, right? But understanding that it's not just about the scale, it's about the shape that I'm changing. Was that one of your bigger shifts to go away what the scale says and what the clothes and the pictures say? Was that one of the biggest shifts for you?
Yes, but it came later. I think when we first started working together was after I had Sophia, and that was the first time I could not like lose weight for some reason. After quitting, I had my abs back in like a year, and I was like, oh, I'm just one of those lucky girls. I bounced back. But after Sophia, I did not bounce back, and I was like, huh, this is not great. And it was Tim actually. He's like, yeah, maybe you should talk to Josh. I think he could probably help you figure out like what's going on. And so in the beginning, when we started that, I had two under two, and we had TNT, and I was not lifting weights yet. I was just trying to like do some jujitsu here or there, and even that was not as consistent. And I was like 25 pounds over where I wanted to be, and I could not get the weight to drop. And so you started me off really slow, and we just kind of like slowly changed diet, and I lost 20 pounds before I went to the gym.
Yeah.
This was before we added in lifting. That was just like changing up some things about eating and sleeping, and that really helped. But then I looked in the mirror and I remember I sent you the picture. It's like, I think I want to get my arms toned because that was the first time there was like no definition. It was just flabby. And I was like, that's not what I want either. So then you're like, I think you need to start going to the gym now. So once we added the gym in and I started seeing like my body change and the muscle change, I also noticed that the scale changed and usually not in the direction I was expecting. So that helped me realize that, I can weigh a certain amount, maybe not what I'm wanting to weigh or what I expect to weigh, but my body can still look the way I want it to. And I say this all the time to my husband, I am kind of vain and I don't feel bad about it. So like that is like, of course, I want to be healthy. I want to live long. I want to be around for my kids, but I want to be that 60-year-old woman that still looks great. Like, that's my goal.
Yeah.
And so when I started seeing the scale in in addition to the pictures, I was like, okay, well, that's what I'm going to be focusing on are the pictures. I'll still weigh myself, but I don't care as much about what the scale says as long as the picture is going the direction I want.
Yeah, that's such a mindset shift for so many women because let's be honest, three babies,
Hmm.
three children, right? And you're also owning a school that does a jiu-jitsu school, but you do MMA class, you do kickboxing. There's a ton of people that are going to come to your gym and they're just like, I hate regular fitness. I hate cardio. I'm just looking for a fun way to get active,
Hmm.
lose some weight. Do you feel that there is still kind of that responsibility for you to model who you want your members to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm teaching classes in front of people. I try to be a good example. If I tell them, hey, maybe up your protein, because we had a guy that was saying he was snacking a lot. I was like, you gotta up your protein because that will help curb that snackish feeling you get in the evening. Because I understand, because that was me too. I get it. We also had a guy who has only been with us like 4 months, and he's already lost like 30 pounds just from coming to jujitsu class 2 days a week. That was like him, I guess, his first time having such a physical activity. And he's like, yeah, I changed my nutrition a little bit, but not that much. It's mainly just been adding in this activity. And he's already lost, a bunch of weight. So, yeah, I try to be a good example. Tim is a good example. Like you said, people don't know how old he is because he doesn't look it. He still is got abs and he's ripped and yeah.
Credit. Yeah.
I can't let him look better than me, so I gotta stay
Yeah,
on it.
100%. 100%. No, if Tim were to cut calories and lean out, he would go from really shredded to really, really, really shredded.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be like, oh, Tim's kind of gaining some weight, a little overweight. No, it'd be he's shredded and then he's going to be just more shredded.
Yeah. He
I
usually has the opposite. And when he's not like lifting consistency, for some reason he loses weight. So I was like, you need to get back in the gym. We're gonna like
yeah.
make
And one thing too, I think this is going to be big for people. You guys work out together.
Mhm.
How big is that? And listen, that is so hard for families because one thing, and I've noted that I pick up on little things. One thing I notice, like I'll come to TNT open mat, which means that actually I'll be there Friday. I'll come to their open mat, and me and Tamayah will just gab a little bit about nutrition, whatever. You have the most supportive husband.
I do.
Like he is always in a state of like when we talk about nutrition or how you look, he is consistently affirming you in front of other people. And I noticed that like right off the bat, we've been talking to each other. I came to an open mat and we're talking about nutrition. And he just comments, she's killing it. She looks great. She's working hard. And I'm like, oh, Tamaya's going to kill this because she has a husband that's on board and he's affirming. And like, Tamaya, I will say this. We work with so many women who want to get in shape, and it's almost like the men are upset by it.
Mm.
The men will bring snacks home for the kids, then they'll bring an extra one for the wife. Like they'll go to Dairy Queen, and I this is every example I've ever used in anything. I say, hey, this is just an example, and it's really not an example; it's a real life example. Like I'm just pulling from what I've had clients tell me. Because I've even said, like, well, I'm not talking about anybody specific. No, I am. I am talking about someone specific. Where he would come home from work late. He had a job that he'd come home like 7 or 8 o'clock. And it was two kids and him and her. And he knew she was struggling and on a nutrition plan. He knew it. He was paying for her to do it. He would go to Dairy Queen or like an ice cream place, get one for him, two for the kids, and one for her. And she would be like, what's going on? Like she was confused because he knew. And come to find out, he was really insecure about his own weight and he was really insecure about him.
Mhm.
And he felt almost called out by her addressing her nutrition, that he felt like he wasn't going to be good enough if she lost a bunch of weight,
Mhm.
healthy. Um, they quit working. I don't know what happened, but I always remember like that's weird. So then when I hear Tim affirm you, and then you say Tim's going to eat what I eat, now you guys are lifting together as a couple. How
Mhm.
important is that if you have moms out there or people out there, like this is a family journey and you guys lift together?
And we
That's
have always lived together,
yeah,
but
that's the new thing, right?
well, it's like a returning thing. So when we were dating, um, we joke about it now, but when I met my husband, I was under 100 pounds. So I think he was like, I can put some weight on her. So he would take me to the gym 3 days a week. We would lift together. He showed me how to do squats and bench and all this stuff. And he would feed me Moe's burritos and protein shakes. So we would go to the gym. That was our routine, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We would
Beef
go
me up.
drive by gas, pick up a protein shake, and then we would go to Moe's and I would get a burrito. So anyway, it worked. I got up to like 125 pounds, but I was like, I had muscle, shredded, everything was great. So I think that was just him trying to like help me in that direction. But past that point, once life started going, we would work out, lift at different times. But it was, I guess, since August that we got back to lifting together, and that's been nice.
Is that, I mean, that's one thing you guys always do to me. I don't know. I pick up so many things you say in little bit things and experiencing and watching you guys interact. Um, with all that's going on, you guys have date night too.
Yes.
Like you've always talked about, all right, it's date night and I'm doing this. And while we had the conversation about nutrition, I pick up on the fact that like it's still date night. Like 3 kids, 3 businesses, you're gonna have date night, right? And I pick up on that. Now you guys live together. Like I use that so many times in examples with people that I train that like one, this doesn't have to put a strain on your relationship,
Yeah.
right? I had a woman, I've used this before, a girl who was engaged. She was on a nutrition plan with me, and she just assumed that the Friday night date night, and they always went to the same restaurant, had to stop. She goes, "Oh, I'm engaged, and I know my Friday night dinners with my husband are going to have to go away, or with my fiance." And I'm like, Well, what's the benefit of going on a nutrition plan, losing a couple pounds, and then your relationship sucks? Like, I'm not sure I'm helping you,
Yeah.
right? I'm not helping you if that's how it is. Do does that help accountability, knowing that you guys are going to live together? Not only does it strengthen a relationship and it makes the family healthy, but like, are there times that you don't want to do it, but you know Tim's going to do it, or Tim doesn't, and you know you're going to do
Usually
it?
the opposite. It's usually Tim was like, I'm not feeling it today. I'm like, nope, we're going. We're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
go. After when I got pregnant and I couldn't lift and I couldn't do jujitsu, like I lifted as long as I could, but my body does not handle pregnancy well. Like I just, everything aches really bad. So once I got to where I just could not do it anymore, I was a little bit miserable. Like I was struggling to walk up my stairs because my hips hurt. So once I was able to actually get back to lifting, like I missed it. I missed being active. I missed having an hour set aside where I didn't have my kids screaming at me. I was so excited to get back, and it took a little bit of time for me to adjust our schedule with the baby, for that to work. Like we did the basement workout for a little bit because I couldn't get away. But he goes to preschool 3 mornings a week, and that's when I go to the gym. It's a rhythm in our week now. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, after we drop the kids off, drop Pookie off at preschool, we drive directly to the gym and get our workout in.
Uh, how long did you keep doing jujitsu pregnant? I feel
Um,
like the
you know,
number that shocked
like
me.
7 months.
You were doing
Long time.
jujitsu for 7 months.
Mhm.
Did you have any, like, did you talk to, like, did you have a doctor that was like, did somebody tell you what was good or bad? Because I remember when you were like 5 months pregnant, we're still working because we had to bump your calories up. Remember, we were like, honey, you got to eat. You got to eat. Like, even after you gave birth, I'm like, no, we got to eat, eat,
Yeah.
eat, eat. And I remember,
Eat.
oh, I'm ready to lose weight. I'm like, no, you got to eat. And you're like, nope, I'm losing weight. Right. And I remember like we're 5 months into this thing, we're texting back and forth, and you're like, well, I'm rolling tonight. And I'm like, you got a baby in there. Like, and I'm ignorant to all that, right? Like, I'm so ignorant, and I have one kid, and I grew up, I'm the youngest in the family, like the whole, like, cousin's family. I'm the youngest, and I have one kid. I remember people would be like, hey, how old do you think that kid is? And I'm like, I don't know, 12? They're like, he's seven. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how long you breastfeed for. I don't know how long these things go. I don't know what you do with little kids. I don't know how they work. Do they go to bed on their own? Like, I was that kind of, I was like, do they eat on, like, is he making breakfast for himself? I don't know. So when you were still rolling at like 5 months, did you have anybody guide you through that? Or were you just like, hey, no, no knee on belly?
It was basically that. I did not tell my doctor I was doing jujitsu, but I did look, I just kind of like went online and looked up things when I got pregnant, my doctor would be like, okay, well, whatever you've been doing physical activity wise, you can maintain that, but don't add anything new to your routine. I was like, okay, well, I've been lifting weights and I've been doing jujitsu, so I'm going to maintain that. I won't add anything new. And so it was just do what I can, no knee on belly, pick responsible rolling partners until I just could not move anymore. 7 months was when I was like, okay, I can barely move around, so we're gonna stop.
That's a long time to
It's a
maintain.
long time, right? And
Like lifting is one thing because it's just you and the weight. Rolling is that's incredible.
yeah, doing jujitsu. I remember when you told me, I'm like, I hope you know what you're doing. I remember texting back. We, but that's jujitsu, right? Like we're gonna roll until like, I mean, Tillman that owns Deep Waters Jiu-Jitsu kept having his meniscus slip out and his knee would lock. And like, I'm not kidding, for like 4 months in a row, every time we'd roll, his meniscus would pop out. He'd sit there, he'd do a handstand, we'd shake it, it'd pop back in, and then we'd keep going back rolling. Like, and at one point I remember looking at him like, hey man, he might be having surgery. He's like, yeah, I don't want to take the time off the gym. Right. And that's how jujitsu people are, right? Like, You could have a finger dangling off to the side, and you're like, I just got to pop this thing in real quick, it'll work, right? Or like, you get hurt, and you're just like, oh man, like that's just how jujitsu people are. So like, you guys, I mean, Tim's a black belt. You've been rolling forever. There is nothing that surprises me that you trained for 7 months doing jujitsu pregnant, right? And that I remember that blowing my mind. You're like, hey, I think I'm going to time finally, how about when you got done? How fast did you jump back into exercise and jujitsu and lifting? Like, because I have a feeling you're like, give birth on a Monday. I think I can work out on a Tuesday. I think that's your mindset. Like, I'll be on the mat Tuesday, Tim.
Be as patient as I could. I want to say I probably started doing some light weights probably around like week 3, like after the baby. Once
Yeah.
I just like felt a little bit better. But I also didn't push it because he didn't sleep well. He still doesn't sleep great. So like if I was just extra tired, that was resting and getting as much sleep as I could was the priority in the beginning, was just getting rest because I needed to recover, and eating. And then once I started feeling like I could, lift a 10-pound dumbbell, I did. I started back jujitsu one day before my 6-week appointment. I had a feeling that everything was fine. Like this was my third baby, so I knew my body was feeling good. And I was like, he's gonna approve me to get back to activity. So I just started. And yeah, I started jujitsu right at that 6-week mark.
And
That's awesome.
what do you think was harder to get back to?
Oh, definitely jujitsu. That
Was it
was
was it really
it was
even in your
hard.
brain, like even to feel like, okay, I'm where I need to be?
Yeah, the lifting, I could go and hide in the basement and nobody could see how bad I was struggling. I couldn't hide with jujitsu. So like and it took months. I don't know. Let's see. I started back training, I want to say like end of October, early November. And it wasn't until like May or June that I felt like my cardio was finally coming back. Like it took that long for me to be like, okay, I'm starting to feel back to normal.
Yeah, I was watching a video with Gordon Ryan did a Q&A, and he was talking about cardio. And he's like, man, he goes, I've had people that run triathlons. I've had people who were track stars. He goes, I've had people come in here that were competitive rowers. And he's like, I've had people that come in here and run top 5Ks in the country, and they can't do 5 minutes on the mat without completely falling apart.
Mhm.
And he's like, he goes, and me, he goes, I can roll 10 minute rounds. He goes, but I probably couldn't go out there and run a 5K right now.
I know I can't.
And that's how I describe jujitsu to people. They're like, oh, you're in really good shape. I'm like, no, I can do jujitsu for a long time.
Mhm.
But like, if I get on an assault bike and do two back-to-back Tabatas, I'm like dry heaving in the corner. It's like you put a gear, a rash guard on me. It's like something completely different happens, right? Like I'll lay down on the floor and do stretching, and I'm like, oh man, getting up is horrible. But like you put rash guard or jujitsu on me, I get on the ground. All of a sudden, I became a completely different person, and I'm like standing up, getting down, rolling, moving. It's amazing how different jujitsu is from a cardiovascular standpoint. You can do anything in the world. There's nothing I'm really going to do to prepare you to start doing jujitsu full time,
Yeah.
unless you go out and do jujitsu full time.
I think a big piece of it that you guys have to have is like being able to control your adrenaline. My adrenaline would pump so fast doing that that I would fall out immediately because my adrenaline would be so high.
That's new people, right? I love new.
Yeah.
I love new people, especially new people that I know.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
get so excited.
They get so excited
Everything,
to do it.
everything's so hard and so tense.
Yes, yes, and we've all seen, and I love new people so much. Even, and when I say new people, I say probably the first year. And you guys have people at your school that have still been doing this a year, and you're probably like, man, that guy. is biting his lower lip. He's gritting his teeth. You can hear him grunting in the corner. And you're just like, and you can tell the dude to relax.
Yeah, I just pick at him. I'm like, why are you being so loud?
Yeah,
Hush.
man. Look, how's that a snot bubble? Like, oh my God. Like you're in the corner dying. Like, what are you doing, man? And you can tell somebody all the time to relax. It's really hard to tell somebody to relax when somebody's sitting on their chest.
Yeah.
I have this question, and it's jujitsu related because you're neck deep into jujitsu culture, right? You guys really are. How hard is it? What is the number one deterrent you see for women who want to start jujitsu? Because I'm
Mm,
sure it's a passion for you when a new woman walks in and she goes, I want to do jujitsu. It's different than a dude. It
yeah.
really is. What is the hardest part for a woman starting jujitsu? And what can you tell for somebody who's out there and they're like, I'm a girl, I want to do jujitsu. What advice can you give them?
Number one, I think the hardest thing I've noticed is that a lot of women don't like the close physical contact and like the sweat. Um, we also get a lot of women that may have not the best background and have some trauma, and so having somebody sitting on top of you is a little bit of a mind fuck for them, and they have a hard time getting over that. So that would be like, I think that's like the biggest hurdle is just like, yeah, you have to be okay with somebody laying on top of you and you laying on top of them. If you're okay with that and you're okay with the sweat, then it's the best form of self-defense. It's great exercise. It's so good for your mental health. But a lot of our ladies have a hard time just getting over like that initial contact.
You
So
recommend
we
for women
use,
to start with women?
hmm?
You recommend for women to start training with women for like, would you recommend to come to the women's class for, because you teach a women's class, right? Would you recommend every woman for the first while to go to a women's only class?
I either send them to the women's only class or I send them to kickboxing. So if they can kind of get used to we use kickboxing as like the gateway drug. Like if you've never done martial arts before, kickboxing is a great way to experience a little bit of the martial art culture. You have to wear gloves, you're hitting a bag, you're working with a partner. You're not as close contact as jujitsu, but you're kind of getting used to it. And once they're used to like getting on the mat without shoes and just like that whole environment, then I move them over to jujitsu, and that seems to be a little bit of a better transition.
Uh, so if they do start a woman, so they say they go from kickboxing to women and they
Mhm.
do the only class. Uh, that's a better transition for women in jujitsu, you think?
Um,
Class?
Not, I don't think so. I think if you're doing jujitsu, you need to be able to roll with everyone. So we do have a women's only class. It's once a week, but I still tell them you gotta go to the class with everybody. Like, especially if you're using this for self-defense, another woman is probably not going to attack you. It's going to be another man. So you need to be accustomed to rolling with guys. And all the guys, like we have a great culture at TNT. Our guys are great. They are, not spazzy. We're constantly monitoring and watching them. So yeah, you if you're a lady at TNT, you still have to do the class with everybody.
Do you find most women come and their goal is just self-defense? So,
Yes, that's like for the women, that's the biggest thing is
okay.
self-defense. Yeah.
Men just want to learn how to fight.
Yeah.
Men just, men just,
So
men just
opposite.
The guys are like, I want to go to the UFC.
you know, it's funny.
Okay.
You know, it's
That's
funny.
awesome.
You know, I always recommend you guys. I train at a different school, but I love the culture. I want somebody to do jujitsu. Whatever gets them to doing jujitsu, I don't care. Right. And one of my favorite people of all time, and of course he quit because he's busy, is Tyler Renew, who trained with y'all. And he lived out there in that area. He's like, what do I do? I was like, he goes, I think I want to fight. I said, okay, that's cool. I said, here's what I want you to do, Tyler. He's a tough kid. He's going to be like Citadel Hall of Fame football. Um, Super athletic kid. And he's like, oh man, I watch jiu-jitsu all the time. I watch MMA all the time. I think I want to fight. And I was like, okay, here's what I want you to do. My buddy Tim, I want you to go over to Tim and I want you to tell him you want to fight. And here's what I want to do. I want Tim to kick you in the leg. And then I want you to put your hands up and let Tim kick you in the head. That's all I want. And then I want you to come back to me and tell me if you still want to fight. Right? Like I said, and I'll have high school kids that come to me and are like, Coach, I think I want to do MMA and learn to fight and fight. I'm like, all right, go to TNT. It's a Hammond family. I've known forever. I want you to take a kickboxing class. There's a guy there named Brandon. And if you ever know Brandon, Brandon's scary. But the nicest human being in the world, right?
Right.
Because he should be, right? That guys like Brandon should be very nice, right? If guys like Brandon were mean, then we'd have a really bad world. But Brandon is a big, strong. He fought in Contender Series for UFC, the nicest guy in the world, but like scary strong. And I'm like, there's this guy Brandon. I want you to put your gloves up and put the gloves. I want him to punch you in the face, and I want Brandon to kick you in the calf. And then come back to me and tell me if you wanna fight, right? Those guys end up doing kickboxing and doing a little bit of jujitsu, and they were like, man, I don't know if I want to fight or not. I'm like, guess
Yeah. If jujitsu takes you out, then you don't want to fight.
have to like, most guys won't learn how to fight or they see it on jujitsu, but you find that most women come to you of like, I want to learn how to defend myself. That's the primary goal of women
Yeah.
is to defend themselves. Um, Jiu-jitsu culture also has a form of self-regulation. Me and Tim came through jiu-jitsu when jiu-jitsu wasn't what jiu-jitsu is now. Now there's a lot of black belts in town. There's a lot of people that train. You can go train wherever you want. One thing I still like about jiu-jitsu culture is it's self-regulating. And what I mean by self-regulating is if you're in an open mat or you're at a class with girls and one guy is a little bit too heavy-handed with girls, that guy's the dudes see it. The guys are going to be like, oh, that guy's not very nice with the females in the room. Well, that guy's going to have like a really hard month because every dude is going to beat the brakes out of that guy. And until he learns the hard way, right? And which brings me up to another thing. Do you think sometimes guys are the other side? Do you think sometimes they're patronizing? Like we roll with guys sometimes and you're like, dude, I'm a purple belt. You can roll, you can choke me.
I do get that a good bit until I tap them, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe I need to like not hold back as much." I
Yeah.
mean, they will definitely try to not give you a solid role, but they also have an ego. So I usually just tap the ego and get what I want out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it works. We have a girl that's really good at our school, and she rolled with a dude that was new. He said he wanted to try jujitsu. Trying jujitsu and just going to open mat is not going to work.
Yeah.
Like if you're new to jujitsu and you just walk into an open mat, you're gonna have a horrible experience. Go to a beginner's class, take your pride away. And so my man shows up to a open mat class, and there's a girl there, and I mean she chokes the shit out of him. I'm taking takes his back, locks in the rear naked choke, and my man is doing everything he can to not tap, flailing, and that thing's in tight. And I'm just standing over top of him, just staring at him in the face, looking at you and be like, she's good, bro. And when I say chokes the shit out of him, like my man's gets done, taps, face red. Well, there's still like 2.5 minutes left in the round. So he starts going a little harder and getting a little bit like he double legs her, gets her to the ground. My girl takes his back again, chokes the shit out of him again. And I'm just like, I don't, she's good, dude. I'm like, I think you thought because she was a girl and she's really nice and had on, you know, uh, uh, like a Disney rash guard. She's and she's just happy with her little pigtails in. You thought you're like she asked you to roll or you asked her to roll and you thought it was going to be something different.
Hmm.
And she locks it up and your tongue sticking out your mouth choking. And then you get mad about it. And then you do it to her again and she chokes you again. And I remember trying to encourage the kid after. I was like, hey man, just come back to a real class. Right. But I do find that guys roll with girls one of two ways. Either they get their ego involved and they say, I'm not going to tap to a girl and they go a little too hard, or
Hmm.
they patronize them.
Yeah.
Oh, just a girl, right? And just choke them,
Yeah.
choke them.
They're just like a little, they're like a rolling dummy. Like I had a guy, and he's a wrestler, I think. And we were going to roll, and I was expecting him to give me a little bit more than he did, and he just was not doing anything. So I think I like tapped him like 5 times in the round, and I was like, you know what? If you just want to lay here, I'm just gonna use you to practice my submissions, and we'll just go with that.
Some of it too is that they don't know what the rules are. Like, how can I roll and move? Because we had this conversation too. Um, when you're rolling with girls, like you're sticking your hands in head and play. I mean, great. Like we always said it. But guys and girls don't have body parts when you're doing jujitsu. That's what I tell them. Like we don't have body parts aren't there, right? But like you're sticking hands and heads and grabs and stick and you know, and we did a move yesterday in jujitsu, um, where part of the skill was the crotch in the face. And like the crotch is in the face, bro. I mean, it's the crotch is going to be in the face. And and I had to say something to the class when they're doing it because people were kind of nervous and guys and girls are training, girls train, and I'm like, hey guys, somebody's sweaty crotch is going to get pushed into your face. I understand if you're not uncomfortable with it, but you're not going to hit this move without literally crotch to the face. And you're just going to have to figure it. And that can be uncomfortable for girls. That could be uncomfortable for guys if it's a girl because you're like crotch in the face or girl crotch in the face and it's a dude, right? That can be uncomfortable for girls, but I think it helps at your school because as one of the owners, you're purple belt, you've been doing it long enough. Girls got to see you in there and be like, okay, this is girl friendly. She's doing jujitsu,
Hmm.
right? She's comfortable with it. So I got to be comfortable with it, right? Because it is uncomfortable. Jujitsu is uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable. Jiu-jitsu is hard. Anybody that does jiu-jitsu, I commend them because jiu-jitsu is hard.
Yeah. I tell people the hardest thing is getting on the mat the first time. I don't remember what it was like, but I know it sucked. Um, Getting through your first blue belt and getting through white belt is hard because you're really, really, really bad. And everybody is a lot better than you. And every class you're going to lose.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how long does that last? 6 months? I go, no, 2.5 years. It's going to be 2 years of you having the adrenaline pump every time that you're going to go in, especially like brand new blue belts. If you're a white belt, brand new blue belts are going to beat the brakes out of you because they're so sick and tired of getting beat up for 2 years. It's like brand new fresh meat, right? And I said
Hmm.
that's just how jujitsu is, but I said it gets better, but it really doesn't get a whole lot better.
Not that much better. I'm still,
People are like, does it get better? I'm like, yeah, it gets it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't get better because like what happens when you get a blue belt, or like say you're a blue belt and you roll with a lot of brown and black belts, all of a sudden you get a purple belt and they roll with you different. Right? They were nice to you at blue. Now at purple, they know you're good. So they crank up the level and it's not any better. Right? It's so frustrating. I really hate it. They're like, love jujitsu. No, I hate it. I hate it so much.
But everybody needs a hobby that they love hate. Like I have my love hate with strength training, even. Like some days it's the worst thing I've ever done, but
Are
you
you
need
like
a
that
hobby that
with,
keeps you humble.
are you like
yeah.
that with lifting? Would you rather do anything else other than lifting or do you love?
Me?
No,
Oh,
Tamaya.
Tamaya.
Um, no, I like lifting. That's like like I said, my hour in the day where I turn my phone off. I don't have my kids yelling at me. And with lifting, I can pace myself a little better. Like if I'm
Yeah.
extra tired, I can lower my weight or take my time in between sets. With jujitsu, you're working with another person, so even if you're having a rough day, sometimes you just can't slow it down. Like they are just out for your neck and you just have to deal with
Literally off of your neck. I always think like every day I get a little bit closer to wanting to try it, but I'm so claustrophobic. I like even y'all saying the word choke makes my heart race. Like I can't. Ugh.
So Tamaya and them are affiliated through Checkmat.
Hmm.
Mhm.
There's a Checkmate. Is there a Checkmate in Charleston? There's a Checkmate in Charleston. It's a big school in Charleston. Isn't there a big Checkmate in Charleston?
Yep.
There's,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a jujitsu. Follow jujitsu is like a mile from my house.
Go
Oh,
Bolston and I, what's
Folly.
that?
Go to Folly. They'll take care of
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Like have to wear a cone around my neck. I'm like, you can't touch my neck.
No, they're gonna get your neck. Yeah, they're gonna get. But I imagine that school has a lot of girls in it.
They do have a lot of women there,
Do
so.
they? Do they?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, hey, we appreciate you coming on and updating us. If you don't mind, like when we post this, we'll tag like the business and you,
Of course.
so people know how to find you, and you'll probably have women. We've had women on podcasts where other women that listen to our podcast contact them, and they're going to be like, "I got a 1 year old too. Oh, and I've had 3 kids in 3 years, or 4 kids in 5 years, and what do I do?" So, but hey, we appreciate you coming on. I'm going to be very respectful of your time because I know
You're
you're
busy.
busy.
Thank
Good
you,
fun
Tamayah.
interviews, so
Thank you, Tamaya.
thank you guys.